Hello, we are Team Fairness and the Church of Fairness, the Sacred Truth Religion. First, I want to start with some chants for power so we can make the World Fairness Agreement happen. Nama, Shakti, Shivaya. Nama, Shakti, Shivaya. Nama, Shakti, Shivaya. I've been listening to some videos. There's the Wisdom of the Masters is one place to find this. Meister Eckhart, the Christian mystic, he said that God is pure nothing, and he said to stop thinking for as long as you can. Sound familiar? It's amazing that he had the same insight as Buddhism and Hinduism. So he said that silence is God. So stop your thoughts as long as you can. When I have thoughts appear, I put them aside because they're not silence. I'm striving for silence. So if thoughts appear from somewhere else or from my own mind, someone else's mind, doesn't matter, I put them somewhere else for now. And I go back to the idea that silence is God. Find God in nothingness. So I'm starting off with Meister Eckhart's direct words, and now I'm paraphrasing and adding some of my own words. So find God in nothingness, and that's the silence. And be happy with what's going on right now. And there's many instances where just doing that, you'll feel this loving grace join with you. Because you're finding happiness with this right here and this right now. And you just continue to not think. Every time thoughts appear, stop your thoughts. So I was on a walk up Provo Canyon, and there's quite a few people up there today, but I almost needed a jacket because the temperature's quite a bit cooler than it has been. But it's very pleasant for walking, and the weather was just no clouds, no wind until a little later. And I'm practicing the idea that everything is sacred. The mountain is sacred, the tree's sacred, the river is sacred, all the people are sacred, I'm sacred. God is sacred. The all-powerful oneness is sacred. And it's the primary of reality, the oneness. And where it is, we don't exist. Only it exists. We become the nothing. That's God. And the substrate, the primary, is the oneness of everything. It's one thing. So in the Sikh religion, it's called Ik. And their primary starting point is Ik Onkar. one, this oneness, the sacred oneness of everything is one thing. So it's an illusion that we're seeing different people. That's secondary. You know, there's like the idea, use your illusion. So our ego lives in the illusion. But our ego can be taught that God is silence. The guru comes from the silence. God and the guru are one. And you. The three of you are one. Do you see I'm mixing several different religions into this darshan, or into this instruction. So there's many different words that can be used from different languages and so forth. So science says that our reality is non-local. They've proven that local reality is not real. Only the oneness is real. Amazing. That's the same thing Guru Nanak is saying in the Sikh religion. Guru Nanak, I think is how you say it. So, it's true. And this is from the Sikh teaching too. It has always been true. It's true now, and it will always be true. That everything is this one thing, one. So they're saying like, should we even use the word God to describe this? But God's a simple word to use. And it's, to me, God means like the understanding. God represents the understanding of what we're talking about. Find happiness in the here and now. So that's like be grateful for everything that's happening. Sometimes that's difficult, but I can, rather than trying that, I try find happiness in what's happening right now. And then I get the gratitude comes from that. So I'm grateful with everything that's happening by being happy with here and now. So I was working on my interaction with the other people, because our ego lives with the other egos, and we have conflicts. Our ego has conflicts, power struggles with the other egos. And we all have different definition of God or higher power. So we're not only in a power struggle with the other person, our higher power is in a struggle with their higher power. We're in a struggle with their concept of God. They might want us to surrender to them and theirs. So when I'm sensing that someone's trying to dominate, I can go into this no thought meditation to stop my thoughts. I don't want to have any thoughts. And instead of interacting with them, I look at the beautiful mountain and I think, God is the silence. Find happiness in this right here. And they're just frustrated that they can't get me to play. I don't want to play. I want to look at the mountain. And I want to not think any thoughts. And so, in my experience, there'll be intrusive thoughts happen. And they are wanting to interest me in playing, or in I better not do what I'm doing, or something, some kind of temptation or some kind of threat to control. The intrusive thoughts do that. And so I just stay silent. And they realize that they cannot control me and that they have no reason to. I even heard one gentleman, like, triangulating his conversation to tell me what to do. I was just standing looking at Bridalveil Fall, and it's the water coming down. It falls off the high cliff, and then it tumbles down this really steep incline. And I was just gazing at the waterfall, practicing God is silence. God is in the nothingness. I was finding God in nothing, and I was nothing. And he was telling me to just go ahead and stand there. So like anything that I was doing, he would have to tell me to do what I'm already doing so that he thinks that he's telling me what to do. So in the past, people would, especially a group of people, they would end up having a team against me. And I would be angry, frustrated. It would ruin my day. I'd get headaches from the intrusive thought is, do you want us to hit you in the head? And I'm like, God is the silence. I'm finding God in nothingness. And that's intrusive thought, and I'm going to put that over there. So I'm going to put that intrusive thought over there. It's not silence. I'm striving to have complete silence within my mind. I can hear the rushing water and the warm wind stirred up and blew some dust at this point. And I'm seeing this sacred wind blowing some sacred dust. And I heard somebody say, there's your glider. And I knew when these thermal winds kick up some dust and you feel this warm air, that there's going to be rising air. It's going to be going up. And as soon as this happens, if there's any eagles or hawks around, they're right straight toward it. And they're spiraling up on this thermal of rising warm air. So as I was looking for a hawk or an eagle, because it was the first warm air I had felt of the morning, the air was really chilly and very still. And then the warmth of the day warmed the air, and the thermal started spiraling up. And I saw one bird fly, but it wasn't looking for the thermal. And I look over on the top of Timpanogos Mountain, the high mountain, and I see a glider. And I had just heard out of the blue someone say, there's your glider. And I look up and there's a glider working the lift on top of the mountain. So when you get connected to the all-powerful oneness and to the servants of it that we can't see, some of them are the wind, or they control the wind. They're either the wind itself or they're beings that control it. And they control and manage everything, every event that happens, like God's will, or from science, superdeterminism. So it doesn't matter if it has a mind doing it or it's just already done. The whole reality has already been created. And we get tuned into it. The Navajo people had a way to explain it. We're on the pollen path. There's beauty in front of me, beauty to the side, beauty behind me, beauty to the other side, beauty above, beauty below. So it's like everything is sacred. They call it the pollen path. So I'm practicing this idea that every single thing is sacred. And then I decided to do the chant that I started with. I did it out loud. People probably heard me. I was doing it quietly. Om, Nama, Shakti, Shivai. The intrusive thoughts hate that. They want to stop me from saying that chant. And when I say that chant, there'll be people around that they're like, whoa, something's really stinky. And it's like, it is what I think happens is I'm connected to the all-powerful. And at that point, they're not. So their protection. Oh, did you know Judas is the number 13 at the Last Supper? So 13 has like always been this powerful number. It's usually opposed me, like number 13 is against me. And so by chanting that chant, I defeated Judas. And I was on the 13th mile on the walk. At the Bridalveil Falls area in Provo Canyon, they have mile markers on the paved trail. And it's the 13th mile. So on my walk, I almost went to the 14th mile, but I decided to turn around. And the next post I saw was 13.75 and then 13.5. And where I started was probably around 13, even 13.0, somewhere there. I didn't notice the 13.0 sign. But yesterday, I was searching for, is there a Judas cult? I didn't think that, is there a number 13 cult? And AI couldn't find anything. It told me about the Gospel of Judas. I've already read it. Incredible, powerful things when I finally read that. It took 6 years for me. I was obstructed from finding it. They did not want me to read it. And I read it the second time, and I got a different message the second time than I did the first time. I was being told in the Spirit the first time I read it. So there's other minds that come in. So Robert Falconer has a book called The Others Within, The Porous Mind. It's porous, things can come in and go out. And spirit possession. So Judas has got people possessed. They're under his control, number 13. And I've been struggling with that for years. At first I said 13 is my lucky number because I'd heard Joseph Campbell explain how 13 is the number of Jesus because there's 12 apostles and then Jesus. So, here's where it's really interesting. Years ago, I was still battling with number 13 and dreams about the Grim Reaper and so forth. And on Coast to Coast, George Norrie, he had on as a guest the woman that had precognition and she helped the police solve a crime. I forget her name. She was Gnostic. I did a quick search and I can't find her name right off, but she was talking with George Norrie about the people that got in the cave in West Virginia. Yeah. And there were 13. And she told him that she saw a vision that one died and 12 lived. So that's like Judas got killed or Jesus, which one? So it's like the Judas one is trying to take the place of the Jesus one and push him off the chair. He's trying to push Jesus off the throne and be the boss over the world. And Jesus is like the all-powerful oneness is God. We all count the same. Do what you want. I'm not your boss. So, by the way, the Gospel of Judas Iscariot, it's reversed. so that Jesus is the bossy one and Judas is the kind one. It's really kind of weird. It makes you wonder which one's the good guy and which one's not the good guy. Well, by their fruits you shall know them. Who's trying to boss you? Who's trying to dominate you? We want the right to not be done wrong. So she said that the 12 died and the one lived, and it turns out it was one lived, survived without oxygen for, I don't know, a long time, but he had brain damage. The 12 were dead when they finally got a passage into the place where they were trapped in the coal mine. And I had been told before that in my dream that the extraterrestrial is going to kill some people because they're not being fair. The people are not being fair. So it always happens in a real general way. And it happened in that natural, well, somewhat, it was a man-made mine. So, who does he really kill and what does it really mean? You know what I mean? So they can end people's lives. These godlike beings, it's like God gives life and God takes life away. They're that powerful. I don't think there was a God in the first place. I think we evolved. So science is part of the Church of Fairness just as much as anything else. Truth is sacred. There's no two kinds of truth. There's not spiritual truth and ordinary truth. There is only true truth. So then I'm searching for 13 yesterday in the afternoon. Later on that day, I hear about there are 12 people buried under this gold mine and one person died. Whoa, there you go, the same pattern with 13. So they got the 12 out, and so only one person died in the coal mine accident in Colorado yesterday. And they were tourists. It was a tourist mine that they would take people to the deepest vertical gold mine, was the ad promotion. And they were going to close it this weekend. And here they have this accident. So I got on YouTube and I found an update. And there's the authority talking about it. And I went to listen to it. And it froze. So I got a snapshot of where it froze, the man talking. And my phone froze up. Something wanted to stop. I sensed it. Something did not want me to hear about it. And at the same time, there's this, like a Judas character that wants to be the boss over me, and I'm the Christ in my dreams. And I can hear this boss guy, and the guy that was, anyway, I won't go too much detail. I don't want to have too long a video. I got home and I listened to it because the YouTube was working when I finally got home from my walk, about a 10-minute drive. And so I listened to Dr. Ritchie at TYT, and this same boss voice said, "Don't ever listen to that guy again." And he's talking about the KKK demonstrating at some campus. So I put a post, we need the World Fairness Agreement because they should not be allowed to have unfair beliefs. And they do. The Bible has unfair beliefs. So does the Quran. And if there's any unfair beliefs in any of the other religions, they shouldn't be there either. So that's what the World Fairness Agreement is about. If we don't get that accomplished, we're never going to have peace. So I'm praying or asking, whichever word you prefer, the agents of the all-powerful oneness, because I don't consider it to have mind in the first place. It does now, so I can just call it God if I want. So I'm asking God to make the World Fairness Agreement happen. Guess who God is? You are. God is you, but you're not the all. But the all-powerful all is everything. It's you and it's me. God is us, but we're not God. Have a great day. Thanks for listening.